Hi everyone, this is Diana with Artfully Yours, and welcome to my acrylic painting tutorial. There you can see I was holding a piece of chalk to draw out the basic shapes, so it's really just some very basic shapes right there. And right now I'm mixing, and with the chalk, if you make a mistake with a damp paper towel, it can easily be wiped off the painting. And there I started with straight cobalt blue for the top darkest layer, the top darkest band of color, and then mix in white and to make a medium blue, and then overlap each layer, each band of color, overlap so it blends, so they blend together. It's an easy way for blending bands of color together. Before it dries, you're overlapping the previous band of color. And now I'm going in with the lightest, so I'm getting a big chunk of white on my brush, putting it into my medium blue to get the light blue, and that will be my third band of color. So it's going from the straight cobalt blue, which maybe you're going to call that the dark blue, medium blue, to the light blue. And just keep going, painting horizontal. Again, oh, that's with the 1-inch flat brush. Okay, I'm washing out my brush now. And after I wash out a brush, I use the paper towel to pinch it so all the water comes out, because I'm about to do a second coating. So I go back with the straight cobalt blue, and I'll just go back again with medium blue, light blue, and it's my second coat of color there, because forgot to say, you have to do, it's best to do an underpainting, and I did that underpainting with a yellow ochre, or you can also use yellow oxide, and that's what that goldish color is. That's the underpainting. So here I'm just mixing the same shades of blue for my second coat for the sky. Okay, now while it's still wet, I'm using, it's almost a 1-inch round brush. I think it's 7/8 inch round brush, but I think a 1-inch round brush is fine. And while that light medium blue is still wet, I go in with straight white. And it's easy to make a circle with a round brush because you just keep moving it in a round motion. And it's very easy to make a round shape. So now I'm kind of making the halo around the moon, which with the feathery touch of the brush, it's creating the halo effect around the moon. And I'm showing that I'm going to be using a dry brush and a brush with paint on it. And they're both round brushes. So with the wet, right now I'm painting some Am I painting? Or no, I think I'm using the dry brush there. I used the dry brush there for blending. Now I'm going back in to make just the very center of the moon whiter. And then a little bit away from the round shape, I'm still working on that very light white halo around the moon. So I keep moving the brush in a circular motion, but not round and round and round, but as you can see, I can't explain it. You can see the demonstration there. So, and now I'm not working with straight white right there. I on my palette, I mixed it so it would be a light blue. And now I'm showing you that I had made a mistake. I changed my mind about the composition of this painting, even though I had done a little 9x12 practice painting. That's with a 1-inch brush, flat brush right there. On the little painting, on the 9x12 painting, when I did this practice painting, the composition seemed to have worked out, but when I painted it larger, I could see the composition wasn't working with a big giant green bush on the right. So there you see that I had painted, I let it dry, and then whenever in acrylic, you can change your mistakes anytime. And I painted it out, the big bush on the right, I painted it out with the yellow oxide or yellow ochre. And now I just painted it on. So now I'm going to make that all sky. That's 1-inch flat brush again. So I painted straight cobalt blue. If you want to add a little black on the side, which I did, but I found out it's not necessary. You don't need to add dark the black to make dark blue on the side, because the tree's going to be covering that up. So I am making a medium blue, right? That's medium to light blue right there. And now continuing the halo of making the halo of the moon even larger. And make sure that cobalt blue is still a wet layer so that the colors can mix together. And also you can see I changed my mind about it wasn't working in the composition to have on the left that large mound of grassy flowers. So I painted out the top of that. So now it's just straight sky all the way across. I'm going to be painting right down into that yellow ochre shape that you see. I'm getting So I suggest that this is why I'm showing this in part 1, is paint all of the sky first before you go on to painting the rest of the painting. That's why you can see some of my painting, the finished painting showing, because I had to go back in later after I had changed my mind about the adjustment of the composition. So here I'm starting the stream, and I'm using straight phthalo blue, and as you'll see, the sky does not look like it's finished. That's because the adjustments I had to make to the composition. So technically, you really, in part 1, you should have finished, you did finish the sky already, but it's not gonna look like that when I show shots of this. I'm still using straight phthalo blue. And if your paint isn't gliding easily, just add a touch of water. Just a touch of water to you could just dunk your paintbrush that already has paint already on it. Just dunk it right into the water, and it'll make your paint move smoother or glide easier on the canvas. So here I'm using, it probably is straight white or just a very pale blue with a, that's probably a half-inch flat brush. Right, I'm using a very pale blue right there for the reflections on the water from the moon. Keeping it horizontal as possible. That's a flat brush, and yes, I believe it's the half-inch flat brush. And it's best to do this while the coating of phthalo blue is still wet. So I'm making some highlights a little brighter. Some of them are just more blended into the paint. Some thin lines, some thicker lines. It's best not to make some kind of pattern and to keep it a little bit more random looking. There I am toning down some of that white reflection a little bit because I think it was too bright. So now that's straight phthalo blue. And back to the 1-inch flat brush. Yes, it's best to keep your brush strokes horizontal, even for the straight phthalo blue, but when I have to go around an object, I do follow the contour of the object and then go back with the horizontal brush strokes as best as I can after outlining the object. And the reflection width is getting wider and wider as it getting to the bottom of the canvas. So it's up to you how you think the highlights of the reflection on the water should be. You might want it a lot more subtle than what I have it. You might want brighter highlights, so it's really up to your own artistic sense. So now, using straight black, I'm darkening the edge. I'm going to darken that side and also the left side. And my phthalo blue still is wet, so it's the black is blending into the blue. still using the 1-inch flat brush. And that's what I mean by following around the contour of the object. I'm adding a little bit of black here and there to tone down some white areas of reflection, right with straight with the black paint. Oh, here I'm showing, there's the full bush, but do not paint the full height of the bush. I have changed that. So in your painting, really the sky should be all finished. It should not have that big bush on the left, but you will need the lower part of the bush. So that's why I'm showing this part. I'm using a fan brush, a medium-sized fan brush. And I had painted it already in solid phthalo green. Then I added black on the left while the phthalo green was still wet. Adding it in black on the right, I mean, for the darker area, and with the fan brush adding in with light green, mixing yellow and white with the phthalo green to give the foliage effect. If you tap with the if you tap with the fan brush, it gives the foliage effect really very easily. So some of the grasses are hanging down over the water. So the top of your bush should go right to where it should be a straight line, horizon line for the sky. So the top of the bush is deleted now for this painting, and the top of the bush should really just follow almost a straight line across. If you want to make it a slight mound, that's all right. But pretend that top part of the bush is not there, and you're really just working on this bottom part of a grassy hill. I don't know if it's a bush, it's more like a grassy hill. Well, after I wash out a brush, I always squeeze it to get the water, squeeze it with a paper towel to get the water out. So now using black, and just going back in and blending out that black, so it's not so harsh of an edge right there. So on your bush, you're going to have the light, medium, and the dark tones. So here, using the fan brush, and going in with a yellowish green mixture. You can add a touch of white to it. So this will be the lightest value used in this it's really a Grassy Hill. Okay, it's really, when this was the mistake I made, I don't want, it's not going to be a big bush, it's a Grassy Hill. So I'm just showing you the parts where I paint the bottom that look like grass. So I'm going in with the lightest value, and you can change direction with the fan brush. You know, it can go vertical, up and down, different directions. And then I will be painting in, let's see, and then also the grass that like hangs over the water. Now I'm going in with the medium green. So this is phthalo green. I believe phthalo green just by itself. And this would be the medium value of green. And going in, just going all over with medium green. Even in the lightest section, even in the mid-tone section, even in the darkest section. I'm just tapping lightly actually with the fan brush, and it gives quite a good, you know, grassy texture. And last would be the dark. So I'm just using, you can use straight black, or you can mix just a touch of some green in with the black. Yeah, I'm mixing the green with the black. So that's going to be the darkest value. And I'll concentrate that on the darkest side of the hill, of the grassiness. And if I've gotten if I've gotten blades of grass too clumpy, you can always break it up with the darker value now. So as far as detailed, as far as you want to take it, and that's about as far as I've taken it. And oh yeah, now I'm going to paint the Grassy Hill on the other side, and I start off with just straight phthalo green with a round brush. It's probably the 1-inch round brush, circular motion. As I get near the edges, which will be in just in a minute, when I get near the edges, I don't try to make a straight line. I kind of dab it all around the edges, because that's going to end up being grassy on the edges anyway. The grass is going to hang over again over the stream, and the grass is going to stick up on the top. So I'm just dabbing it in, dabbing in the edge. But later I'll come back in with the fan brush again. Same technique. So I'm not going to show the whole way I do this second Grassy Hill, because it's pretty much the same technique with the fan brush. I'll just show a little snippets of it here and there. So still using just straight phthalo green. Now I'm getting out the fan brush and using yellow. What am I using? Yes, I'm mixing the phthalo green with the yellow to get a light yellowy green. And I tap it lightly, all different directions. Up at the top of the hill is where I want it to go straight up and down. So now I'm doing the top of the hill. And some of the blades of grass I will mix white in on the palette. So some of them will be dark. So it actually, even on the top of the hill where the light is showing a lot, where that is moonlit up a lot, I still show a few blades of dark grass, medium grass, but mostly light colored grass sticking up. And that's getting to look pretty much how it will be when it's finished.